I've been thinking about it a bit, and it seems to me evident why those who are in charge of the discourse at large, who control or who arrogate to themselves the capacity or the authority to in some way control what's acceptable to consider and debate, and what's beyond the pale of acceptability and debate. Why it seems that they are so much more motivated to push for a race war instead of a class war. Now, this comes to mind when when I think about the Black Lives Matter protests. Call them what you will. I don't know what to call them. Some of them are, peaceful. A lot of them aren't. I have not heard. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have not heard authorities within any organization that's holding these protests. I have not heard them condemn looting or violence on the part of people who are taking part in these demonstrations. If they have condemned these activities, then I stand corrected. But anyway, they the problem of police brutality is real. Okay, the problem of police treating people unjustly, aggressing against innocent people, in some cases even killing people, is real. It happens. It's not a question of white cop, black victim all the time, though. In fact, much of the time, the victims are white. More often, in fact, are they white than black, and in proportion to the crime rate, it would seem that, proportionately speaking, such acts of police aggression and brutality are more common among whites than blacks. Now, I don't want to, get into too much of a back and forth on this matter of who gets aggressed against more, because there are probably things that aren't reported. I'm sure there are, and so who really knows ultimately what the numbers are. But the fact is, there are you look at cases of people, mostly men, of course. Although there was that one white lady in Minneapolis who got shot and killed by a Somali who was a Minneapolis PD, and nobody talks about that case from Black Lives Matter or any other approved of organization. But anyhow, that's an outlier. But what's not an outlier is that there's a fairly good distribution, racially speaking, of cases of police brutality, cases of police, in some cases, being guilty of what could be called murder, or would at least be some degree of homicide, I think. Now, the direction they could have gone, Black Lives Matter or whatever I guess they would have to change their name if they did this, because then they would have to admit that other lives matter as well. But the direction they could have gone with it is they could have said, we're against police brutality. We're standing up against police brutality. Police brutality happens to blacks. It happens to whites. It happens more often to those who don't have a lot of resources, i.e. to the poor, to the disenfranchised, whatever their race. So it's more often than not an issue of class rather than race. And they could have made it a class issue. In fact, many issues that are now talked about in, by the corporate establishment, and I don't know, the university system, and other, I guess, approved sources of discourse, approved, by those who who arrogate to themselves to say what's approval worthy and what isn't, of course. But they most often go back to the race thing. They go back to, this is a white problem. Blacks are the victims. White privilege is to blame. So whites need to, just as a group, need to repent. They need to get down on their knees and repent of their white privilege. I mean, go to Appalachia, go to some trailer park somewhere of people who are the offspring of indentured servants brought over in the 19th century. Tell me how these people have white privilege. Go to a homeless, that homeless man. What was it in Arizona, who the Antifa burned up his mattress. He was a white guy. Talk to me about his white privilege. There are a ton of white people who are destitute, who are living in poverty, who don't have any connections to anyone powerful, who do not have anything resembling privilege. So if they were to go that route, though, if they were to actually say, yes, we're not going to make this exclusively about race. Of course, I'm from the Black community. I care about my race, but I also see that this is an issue that involves other people too. So let's have unity on this front, and let's not shame anyone for being the race that they are. If they went that route, that would be a much more that would present much more of a challenge to the establishment, because it would be pitting the have-nots against the haves, and it would expose the degree and the extent to which those who are without resources, impoverished, and destitute, the extent to which these people are just treated, are quite often treated as if they weren't really human, no matter what their race. But of course, that is the ultimate goal of those who rule us. They are eugenicists. They want to rid the world of useless eaters, of human weeds, and create a race of thoroughbreds. This is eugenicist lingo, and they haven't never dropped their eugenicism. The Planned Parenthood notions, the ideas that were promulgated when Planned Parenthood was started, were eugenicist ideas, and those ideas are soft pedaled now, but they're still basically what is adhered to. Planned Parenthood is an outgrowth of the ruling class, and that's why it's no coincidence that they so often set up shop in impoverished Black neighborhoods, as has been pointed out by certain sources. So if this whole protest had become something where it was talking about police brutality in general, and it was talking regardless of race, and didn't make this into a shaming of white people thing, but rather was a challenging of the power structure thing, then that would be a much more formidable challenge, again, to those who rule us. And so I strongly suspect that they're promoting this racial angle because they want to divide and conquer. They want to. They're pushing white guilt and so-called white privilege and so forth. But who are the people they're trying to shame and guilt into believing that they're worthless because they're white? It's not, rich and powerful people who are getting down on their knees and saying, I'm so ashamed of being white. We don't see Bill Gates doing that. We don't see the Clintons doing that. We don't see the Rockefellers doing that or what have you. It's all middle class whites, normal, everyday, average Joe and Jane white people who are being pressured in this way to abase themselves in this manner, which of course stokes resentment among some, rightly so, and thus just perpetuates this racial antagonism. So that's why I think it's we see Black Lives Matter being promoted over All Lives Matter, or poor people's lives matter, or all victims of police brutality lives matter, or something like that. I don't know, something more some more snappy logo than that, maybe. But that's why I believe this racial angle is being taken, and that's why I think it is best to while refusing, if you're white, to have anything to do with this self-abasement that they are encouraging upon us, this grotesque manner in which they are pushing us literally to get down on our knees. You see, there's a video I saw of some rally where all the cops got down on their knees except one guy, one riot cop who refused to do it. I was like, damn, good on you. I mean, I don't like cops, but this guy, I like. So, and yes, there are good cops. There are good cops as well as bad cops, but I've had my own, I have my own reasons for disliking cops generally. Anyhow, that's why I think that we have Black Lives Matter and being promoted, being pushed by the corporate media, by the corporate elites, by the multinational conglomerates who all sit at the table of power. That's why they're pushing this racial antagonism angle, because the alternative would be to admit or to allow something that exposed their true wretched and and nefarious identity as evil, murdering eugenicists. Thanks for watching. My name's Andy Nowicki. You can check out my work at altrightnovelist.com or lowstatusnovelist.blogspot.com.